Hey guys, I'm from Team Soulforge here, and this is my deck profile for Tachikaze Standard. Um, I did take this to the BCS last month. This is actually the build I ran at the BCS. So I had a lot of variety in my matchups, so I was able to kind of it was the first time I could properly test this deck out, and it ran just as well as I hoped it would. The name of this deck is actually the Ancient Charging Roar, which may give you an idea on how it runs, but let's just go into this. So we have our starter as Dragon Egg, as is always the case. And for our grade 3s, we have 4 Gigarex, 4 Opti, and 1 Anger Blader. The grade 2s are Megarex, and 2 Sweep, 2 Smilodon, 2 Raider, and 2 Mammoth. The grade 1s are Sonic Noah, Zanphilio, and Rabario. And I'm saying Zandy wrong, but hey. And the trigger lineup is 8 crit, 4 draw, and 4 heal. The reason I decided to do this deck is because I don't have the Anger Bladers. I only had 1 copy of Anger Blader. Most of this, all of this deck, apart from the stuff that was from the previous set, were actually either donations or trades. I will thank I can't remember everyone who actually helped me out to build this and sort this deck out, but thank you to every single one of them. This is actually a unique build, as far as I can tell. Your main focus is to build up as many gauges as possible before your final push with Gigarex as your Vanguard. Granted, he's at 4, but yeah, he's the main guy that you're actually wanting to go for the final push. It's as you're running up, you're amassing as many gauges as possible. So when you go for your final and keeping your opponent's damage low, possibly down to 3 or 4, keeping them at 3 or 4, so you can still perform the skill. It depends on how many gauges you actually get to where you want to keep them. So once everything's set up and they're at that certain damage, you bring out your Gigarex, you perform his skill, removing gauges, giving 3 units 5k, and dealing your opponent 1 damage, possibly once or twice, depending on how many gauges you've got and how many you want to keep. Before you go in for the final push, which is also why this runs crits instead of fronts. Granted, your first attack is Gigarex, but the front triggers aren't going to be really enough because you're only dealing 1 damage. You need to put as much pressure as possible onto your opponent. That's why I'm running the crits over fronts. Also, with this, you're kind of as you're riding up and amassing gauges, you really need to be careful, not to dig yourself out, because I almost have done once. Also, in the case of the actual the skill of Gigarex, it's not used in the destructive raw builds, but with the raging tactic stuff, actually does help it kind of get the gauges up and really go hard. You can really go hard with this now, which is actually why it kind of came to me. It's like, why don't I build a deck around that second effect? Which actually worked out really well. I do enjoy playing this, and I think kind of built a variation of this on EX and was able to get his opponent from 0 to 4 or 0 to 5 damage with just Gigarex's skill, which is a massive feat, because he needed to have about 20 to 25 gauges on the board, which means his deck was like super low. But yeah, all in all, this is a really fun build. If you want to try this out, go ahead. If you've got anything that you'd like to say about it, just let me know in the comments. Any alterations I would make for this, if I was to alter it in any way, I'd probably just remove the raiders for an extra sweep and an extra Smilodon, and I'd actually take out Anvil Blader completely and put in a 4th sweep as well. That is what I would do. If you've got any other comments, let me know. And I just as a little bit of information, I will be doing a video on how to save yourself from decking out, and any ways and viable ways that you can do it in standard and premium. So look out for that. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye.